today at Harem's Conscious Conversations, I'm going to take you through our journey with our client in Sweden in particular. In South Africa, we always think, how are we going to meet up with clients overseas and where do we need to be seen? So let us begin. In 2016, my husband and myself got invited to a Sufi spiritual conference. This conference took place in a little town called Asa, which is known as the space between land and sea in Sweden. The conference was really about how do we interpret self-knowledge and who we are in this world. And I thought this was the perfect opportunity for my talk to go around and speak about what I was doing in my fashion project, Sari For Change, under the umbrella of Harem clothing at the time. In 2016, we ran our first fashion incubation where I trialed and errored a concept in fashion whereby we brought in seamers, designers, women in retail wanting to be in the fashion industry. We taught them skills on how to create new garments made from our upcycled saris, as well as the business of fashion and how to market themselves. This was then presented on a PowerPoint presentation to our audience in Sweden, and little did we know, this was where my relationship with my new client started.
Subhanallah, this has indeed been the most amazing space that I've been in for such a long time. I am so inspired. Thank you to every single one of you that are contributors to this and that are just here interacting and operating at a soul level. The sacred economy is really a term that I used because I've been interacting with women from all kinds of backgrounds and seeing them flourish over the years and grow in their business life, in their family life, and it was just really special, and I recognize it as being sacred. And then along came a gentleman by the name of Charles Eisenstein, as somebody pointed out to me. He's read a bit about his work and he's authored a book called The Sacred Economy. So what do you know? Perhaps there is a book here in the making for women that are contributors in the sacred economy. I spoke about my company called Harem Clothing, which is a fusion of influences, as part of the connectivity that I spoke of yesterday, the 3 C's, the first part being consciousness, second one connection, and now the third phase is the continuity. Harem has been operational for about 8 years now. It started off as a retailer where I also spoke about me hopping onto a plane and going to source beautiful products from all over the world, and I came back and introduced it into a huge store in a very elite shopping center in South Africa. It became a very, very popular store, very successful retail model, and I wanted to replicate this, but really didn't have the resources. On the other hand, what I did know was, here I am going outside of South Africa when our people are really starving. We have lots of problems with the women. They've been stripped of their dignity. They cannot feed their kids. And I really felt that I needed to make a contribution. Just to give you some statistics from the United Nations, women comprise of 70% of the world's poorest people and own only 1% of the title land, according to this UN report, which was 2008. They suffer not only from unequal access to education and training, but also from discrimination by their employers. The majority of women earn an average about 3/4 of the pay that men receive for doing the same work. And this is outside of the agricultural sector in both developed and developing countries. So can you just imagine if income equality was achieved across gender lines, this could help decrease the poverty through the generations. Studies have indicated that when women hold assets or gain income, the money is more likely to be spent on foodstuff for their kids, in comparison to men, whereby 30% statistically is used on alcohol or a vice of sort. Letabo is a fashion designer. She has a degree in fashion design. Phoebe is a Zimbabwean that came through the borders to South Africa, very difficult situations, but she can sew. And that's all she wants to do. She's self-taught, she finished high school, and all she wants to do is sit in front of a machine. Wisdom is Nigerian, and her mom used to own a boutique in Nigeria, so that's her dream. Through the incubation that takes place over a 4-month period, I paired Wisdom and Phoebe. They've taken ownership of the first boutique, and they're doing a marvelous job. 4 months down the line, they've paid their own rent, they're earning salaries for themselves, and she has people coming from all over giving her new work, etc.
Nina came to me after the conference and she was really moved by what we had shared in terms of the women and the progress within this project, which I call Sacred Economy. Nina was very keen to get involved and to replicate this through the products that we were making in South Africa. Fast forward to 2017, she hit the catwalks at Torino Fashion Week, where she showcased her very first sustainable range made by us in South Africa under the label Sacred. Needless to say, she went on to win a prize as a newcomer in design, and she really knocked the socks off 36 other designers in Italy. She was overwhelmed being a newcomer, working her way in a space with us in Africa. It was an amazing story, one that really hit success so quickly. Little did we know that this was the start of a long-term relationship. In business, we also have to learn the importance of maintaining relationships. Right now, where we are, 2020, we are currently busy working on a range for Nina, who is now based in the States on the East Coast, and her range takes on a completely different flavor. Behind me, you can see our work in progress, which will be launched shortly. Sari For Change now is going to be available in the States. Never in my wildest dreams did I think a brand that started in our garage could take on Sweden, Italy, the States right now, and of course we're also doing a small plus range for Denmark. That's our story. heard our story on fashion, remember that we're always focusing on the business of fashion. So next week we have something amazing in store for you, because what is the business all about? Money, and our attitude towards money. And like I said to you, Harem is really about a fusion of women creating new influences. So I've invited a very, very dear friend of mine all the way from Canada to come and speak to us about how we perceive money and how healthy our attitudes are towards money and what money archetype you are. Very interesting stuff. So yeah, let's check Azmina Ahmed out for next week.